Hello and welcome to ChunezTV. I'm Connor O'Keen. Recently, my good friend and co-host Regan, Boyce, and myself sat down for an interview with Jonathon Barwick from Tasmania, Australia, the one-man band behind the project Fierce Deity, also ex-Tabara fame. Jonathon joined us to discuss the latest Fierce Deity album, A Terrible Fate, and to talk a little bit about the journey that has been Fierce Deity for him so far. It was a real treat getting to deep dive on this with Jonathon, and to just discuss creativity in general. Our journey on ChunezTV started around the same time as Jonathon's with Fierce Deity. We even had the privilege of having him on Tunes back in 2019 as a guest for the final episode, just after his first single, The Path, had come out. This interview was recorded on the ChunezTV weekly live stream, and we started this stream by showing that episode. I leave you now with that interview. I hope you get something out of it. Enjoy. Alrighty, chat, welcome back. Thank you very much for watching that. We are here with the man himself, Jonathon Barwick of Fierce Deity. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. As you can tell, 2019 now, I have not aged a day.
Looking, yeah, better than ever. There we go. Fantastic.
Yeah. Looking spry.
Gotta shave your heads, kids. Shave your head.
It's immortality.
It'll get you onto ChunezTV, I'll tell you that much, because we got a look here.
Yeah.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
That's it. So we're stoked to have you here, dude, to talk about, I mean, all things Fierce Deity, but let's start off with the new record, man.
Hold on, I've got one question first, just before we get into it.
Okay, go on.
Have you changed your opinion on Skin Dread at all?
Look, no. I was steadfast in it back then. I said it. I said what I meant, and I meant what I said.
I'm more worth COE out of this.
Very nice. So how are you feeling about the release of Terrible Fate at this point? And like, does the feeling around this album differ from how you felt about releasing previous albums? How many albums have you put out at this point in your career?
Oh, gee, I think it's around 5 or 6.
Yep.
But yeah, no, this one was been good. It was very, like, not only artistic fulfilling, but the vanity metrics have been good as well. There's good numbers. The numbers are pumping up. It's nice. Hitting some records, like monthly listeners, silly things like that. Yeah, no, it feels way better than all the other. I don't know why, but it feels really good. It must just be maturity or something kicking in, but I'm enjoying it a lot more these days instead of expecting things.
And what's the response been to the kind of surprise drop? You almost Beyonce'd this one. Like, you gave a week's notice, really.
Almost.
Chucking it up on Patreon, and going like, all right, album's out next week, here's a SoundCloud link.
Yeah, purely just because I've never been very good at promoting things after they've been out, so I was just gonna like put it out and then treat it as a practice of how to promote things after the fact. So yeah, no real like genius behind it. It will, like, time will tell, but
yeah,
I feel like the response was just as good if I'd done like a 4-week run up, but like the people that are here heard it, so
yeah,
gonna be a wonderful. I'm gonna like just 12 months and just promote. So we'll see how it goes.
I was gonna say, there was a good word of mouth effect on that, because it wasn't like, this album's come out. It was, holy shit, have you checked Spotify? This Fierce Deity album just came out of nowhere.
yeah. It was Christmas morning
on
dude.
a Tuesday.
Yeah, and a Tuesday no less.
Yeah,
we got to start the stream gushing about it. It was great.
Oh yeah, good. Timed it well. But yeah, no. So like everyone, all the other bottom rung artists like myself who were dropping their stuff on a Friday, just Tuesday was all clear, so I just went for it.
Well, you dodged a bullet too, because Taylor Swift had a thing on Friday, so you didn't have to compete with that.
Yeah,
she had to catch up with you, motherfucker.
I've got massive beef with her. Yeah.
That's what
She saw that and jumped in. She's like,
she was like, "Fuck, launch it now!"
For real though, I'm not insinuating anything. I'm just telling you what happened in a sequence of events.
Okay.
I jumped on Threads. 3 days later, Taylor jumps on Threads. I'm just just telling you what happened.
You'll put it together. All right, get your corkboards, get your yarn, figure it out.
And which NFL player were you dating?
I'm just waiting for the email back. I'm not sure. I think you get a signed one once you get famous enough, so I'm not sure.
Oh, good luck. Fingers crossed for you.
I'll launch the Fierce Deity Errors Tour. I'll launch the Fierce Deity Errors Tour, but ERRORS.
Yeah, nice. It's a spoken word tour. So let's deep dive on this record, because there's a lot to get into with it. I'd love to hear about the story that the record is telling, starting with Leviarak. You put that track out a few months ahead of the album. Where does that set out at the scene for this thing?
So, like, I've got half an idea in my mind to do, like, down the line, I end up with, like, a compilation. It's kind of like a greatest hits, but it's called Bestiary, and I've just got a bunch of songs about beasts. There's, like, a Dragon Gold, now Leviarak, like, hopefully down the line. So it's, yeah, just, like, creating a monster, like a Dark Souls boss or a Witcher monster. And I'm actually really glad I get on the mic to clear this up, because people have been having trouble with it. Leviarak, that's how it's pronounced. The Leviathan Anarachnid. It's like, you know, Leviathan, big, lives underneath.
Yeah.
Arachnid, spider, big spider. Why is it so hard?
I did notice you had to put the, like why can't people put hyphens in the title on for the album release? You got like phonetic pronunciation.
In there. It helped a lot. I was saying it wrong before that.
Dear. That's not, I forgive you. Yeah, so it's the chorus came to me as kind of a sing-songy nursery rhyme, something that like an NPC from The Witcher would be singing as they till the soil or whatever they're doing. Yeah, kind of a mythological song about a beast that may or may not have existed.
Very cool.
So I guess it's fair to say with that then that we're kind of stepping away outside the realm of pure Legend of Zelda reference and, you know, into broader universes.
Yeah, I did that ages ago. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned it. I did it ages ago. I should have mentioned it.
Oh,
people are confused. The reviewers were confused as well. Eden from Heavy Blog is heavy, like in his review was like, I fucking googled it and got nothing. Like, I was like, oh shit, I didn't load up the
first boss of Ocarina of Time. It's the giant spider in the tree.
Oh yeah. Goma. What was it? Yeah, Goma. Yeah. Look, a bit of that. It's definitely inspired by that, but no, I don't know. It kind of became fan fiction, but not just for one thing. It's just like fan fiction of everything that I love, which I guess is just how like an original story. I don't know. But it's not purely like Zelda in the sense that like Master Sword were a Zelda. Like there was a bit more of a gimmick as opposed to inspired by, if that makes sense. So no, I'm off the script now. It's all just stuff that I think is cool.
Big fan of the use of the sample in that though, the Re-Dead scream. That is a horrifying experience as a child. Like burnt into my memory of just how terrifying that was to experience for the first time. So the moment that hit, the first time I heard the song, actual cold shivers down my spine and like a little bit of childhood trauma.
It's got him.
Yeah, got me good.
That's excellent. You're exactly who I was hoping to ruin with it too. Just people exactly like you. People with that core memory. I was gonna say, when you first come out of the Temple of Time as adult Link and Hyrule Market is just in ruins and like they're everywhere. That was just sticks with me to this day. It was like 1996. Sticks with me.
Wow, your therapist must be thrilled.
Yeah, she's not answering my calls.
She's like, nah, I can't do the Zelda thing again. It's too nuts. And he's gone off script. He's writing fanfic. I can't do it.
There's nothing that can be done for you. Please get out of my office without causing a fuss.
Is this album like telling one full story? Because the way that it plays out, it certainly feels that way. It feels like a full concept album, or are these like self-contained chapters of a journey? Like how do you view this in terms of how it's structured?
Oh god, I'd be lying if I said I knew for sure. Yeah, it kind of wrote itself. I had to force a few things to get things to line up, but it feels like at the end of Power, Wisdom, Courage, we had the traveler. He, is following the voice to the desert, and I don't know. It feels like this one traveler. It's kind of like a Dark Souls thing of like you die but you come back, and whether it like I don't know. It's like I said, I'd be lying if I knew, but there's definitely a linear thing in it where I hear like a life of hate is I was saying this to you the other night, a life of hate is the opposite of wisdom. It's like terrible advice, but like the riff even goes up instead of down. Like it was a massive pander to the people that love wisdom, but
it worked.
Yeah, so to me, like a life of hate and like anger is a terrible way to live your life, and wisdom was kind of good advice, like get yourself together, answer the call, and life of hate, let hate mutate your sorrow. Opposite of that, but I can hear, or I can see a traveler going into the desert, following the call, and like in my head, he kind of like he dies. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Storm Temple just repeats.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just keep going back to the entrance.
Yeah, yes.
One reviewer called it too repetitive. I was like, that's the fucking point. Like it's you like yes.
Yeah, that's so funny.
You know, it does a little bit better each time. So
yeah. Well, I actually wanted to talk with you or pick your brain on that song in particular. But as like a jumping off point for generally how you structure your songs. Do you go into these songs with that kind of structure in your mind? You know you want this to repeat, because the way that Storm Temple plays out, it does like it inches ever so much closer to that kind of chorus each time it gets around.
The payoff.
Yeah, and so when you finally get to the like, you know, into the dark, if it's true like you see, like it's rapturous. It's fucking wonderful. And I feel like it's all the more rewarding because of that structure. Do you go into these songs kind of going, all right, I want this to do this, or do you like, does it you know come to you? Is it divine? I don't know.
Oh no, that one did. That was a deliberate thing. I had this idea written as kind of like, how do I depict the experience of like a Dark Souls area or a Zelda temple, like dying, returning to the entrance. So that was deliberate, but I feel like I've gotten a lot better at setting up choruses, and that was kind of just a play on it. It's like I needed to repeat, and I wanted to do a little bit better each time. You'll notice like the deaths become less traumatic to the point where there's one death where he's like silent and patient. You just wait, and then there's like the little level up noise. Like that just kind of fell into place, but no, not everything's deliberate, that's for sure. That's why I kind of struggle to really, like, it's a bit more of a, like another spider reference. The story's a little bit more of a web. I can't, like, put a clear line through it, but, I'll leave that up to the listener, because, like, there's lots of, like, my own experiences, like, people I've known experiences, like, all just, like, written into it. So hopefully the listener can, just see themselves in it. So, no, that one was deliberate, but, Life of Hate, going through the desert, and like, I feel like that is the traveler that didn't go through power, wisdom, courage, didn't develop the tools, so to speak. So he just rushes into the desert, completely fueled by anger. Whether or not he's still spinning in the temple, just going back to that first verse over and over, I don't really know. But the grand scheme was, there's a big spider at the start. Regan, you might dig this, but you'll notice at the end of Levirak, there's like the Zelda press start button noise. Yep. That's like the opening cutscene.
I did count
that.
Yeah,
you go into the Life of Hate, he like rushes in. You did pick that. Yeah, good. Sometimes I get too scared that I should have turned these things right up instead of hiding them. But I'm glad you're
That's kind of what it's being
traumatized by my music. That's good.
How linked to Zelda are you still, because of those little samples being plugged in there? Yeah. And then at other times it feels like you're vastly away from it.
I feel musically nothing has inspired me more than Zelda. Like those like little 5-note ocarina melody things. Like I just write them in my head all day. It's probably a mental illness, but time will tell. The scholars will have to remember that. But
so many bands have failed to write as interesting riffs as those little 5-note ocarinas.
Oh, I thought you were going to say made a career off of their own mental illness.
Oh yeah, well hopefully for me both. We'll see. But so the idea is this traveler, Life of Hates himself, he is kind of forced to stop and think at Nekot's shrine. Because it's kind of like, like the albums of the pace just like falls right out. And so that long walk sort of sets him up. He's in the temple. I'm going to do a deluxe edition, and I kind of wish I'd done it. I kind of regret not putting it in, but between Storm Temple and Dead World, I'd sampled the lift ride in Elden Ring when you first go into the underground. It's like that massive lift ride.
Yes.
It goes for like a minute,
Oh god, yeah. It's like Metal Gear Solid.
That just sent me when Snake! Yeah, that ladder thing. My idea was that the traveler is sort of like progressing through Storm Temple, adventures down, and then gets wrangled by Levirak. And Dead World and Paralysis are sort of these like comatose dreams, like memories. Cool.
So
the Dead World is kind of like his childhood, and which is like Dead World's just a a cycle of oppression getting passed down through generations. If we can deep dive into that lyrically, but I'm desperately trying to find the line through this fucking story because it's in there. But then paralysis into the wind is just a memory of the ocean of sorrow, this other, and like the frozen ocean, which I kind of set up in these locations in Power, Wisdom, Courage. And he's like drifting on the ocean, and another storm kicks in, but he decides to just like sail into it this time as opposed to like running away. That's kind of where it's at there. Like that's the message. It's the story of the album is about letting go and, you know, conquering fear, all that stuff. But letting go, forgiving yourself for past failures, and facing up to the monster in the dark, so to speak. So that's the general as the crow flies story through the album.
That's really nice. Even without all of that context, the music and the lyrics kind of tell that story in a way that by the time you get up to the last track, Terrible Fate, and I don't know, that track feels like this wonderful epilogue to the story in ways. It brings everything back, and that was it, with a lonely arrow, loose the critical blow. Fuck me, dude, it's really great.
Yeah. How good is it that rhymes? Thank God.
Full body goosebumps hearing that for the first time. And subsequent listens, it hasn't
excellent.
Hasn't changed it one iota. So well done. And it is really cool. Like,
thank you.
I was just thinking as you were saying the you know, this album's about, you know, facing fears and letting go of you know, this, that, and the other. Like, that's the stuff that this album and Power, Wisdom, Courage have given me as a listener, as a, you know, just as a fan of, you know, heavy music that can get me through the darker times. I used to, and I still occasionally go back to bands like Hatebreed, or, you know, stuff that's like knuckle dragging and is just like, you know, screaming, you know, positive mental attitude kind of words at you. But as an adult, I think I like this sort of stuff more, the stuff that kind of grapples with the I don't know, the complex and constantly shifting nature of the human experience. And you do it with fucking video game references and, you know, stoner riffs. So, well done.
Yeah, what could go wrong? Yeah. It's a nice mix. It's all my favorite things. Like angst and box riffs. It's so good. One of the most fulfilling things about having it out is hearing what other people hear, because it's just, some people like make up way better stories with it than what I can hear. So it's sick. It's great.
I really love like the approach to writing that you've done in Storm Temple, how you've described it. You know, it's hard to stand out as a songwriter these days when the world is so open and so many people can put their content online. To take a different approach of writing a song, not as a, you know, verse chorus, but you know, to take a story writing narrative and make that a song structure. It's just such a cool, unique thing to do. I think it works really well as well. Like, every time at the start of that song, I have this mindset of, why do I like this song again? Like, I can remember on my last listen I loved it, but it's such a slog at the start, and I can't remember how I got through this. And then by the end of the 9 minutes, I'm like, this song every time. It is just that building up to
and it's in the lyrics as well. It's not just the music, like the start where it's like, you know, into the temple, like, what magic is this? And then later on it's like, I know what this is. You get that sense that like like every time the character's getting that little bit further, you've written a roguelike. Like, you've written the first roguelike song.
I should have released it on Steam.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man,
it feels weird taking credit for it because, geez, sometimes this stuff just writes itself. Like, it's a dumb stoner idea that just thankfully worked. The wind up means so much to me. Like, that's just a musical passage I wrote for my cat who passed away. Neko is the Japanese word for cat, and kot is the Polish word for cat. There's just two countries that I like, Nekot. So my cat is now a god in this universe, and there's a shrine in the desert, and it leads to the temple. So like, I had to put that in there, and it's like, it's grueling, but I don't know, I feel like I sort of paid it back with that ridiculous hard rock section at the end that just sort of has no business being there, but it kind of does fit. So it's grueling 9 minutes, but I'm glad it hits.
Absolutely. And I feel like I like how all of the Nekot's Shrine stuff comes back in the last chorus. It feels like all of that stuff is paid off. So you've alluded to a few Easter eggs so far in this thing, but like, are there any, like, give us a rundown of the stuff that you're like stoked is in this album that maybe people haven't picked up on just yet, or any stuff like you mentioned your cat passing away. Are there any other like anecdotes tied to songs that you'd like to share with us? Because we're all ears.
Yeah, the sound effects are a big thing. There's a few things in there lyrically as well. My friend Joel, who did the growly vocals at the end of Levirak, his lyric is why won't you answer me? I know you can hear me, like, you know, which is a huge callback to Power. When that section is in the desert, like, all I have is this fucking desert. If you find me, kill me. And the chorus is answer me, Deity, set me free, Deity. Yeah. So there's something in there. Who knows? You know, you get consumed by Levirak, you become Levirak. I was chatting to my mate Andrew Hudson, who kind of helped me. He helped me write a few things. I'd like pitch him lyrics and be like, "Can you cut the fat from this?" Like, not a full songwriting credit, Huddo. Don't come at me. Don't come at me. But he did like help me trim the fat, and he mentioned a few things about spiders. Like, apparently, you know, spiders consume their prey. The DNA of the prey obviously goes and becomes part of the spider. So we were like riffing on that a little bit. But so who knows? Like, maybe Old Maid in the Desert in the first album ended up consumed by Levirak, and maybe he was a deity, so it gave the spider some fucking power or something. I don't know. I'll leave that up to George R.R. Martin. He can figure that out. But there's a few in Life of Hate. The actual hook, this Life of Hate Before Me, I pinched that straight from the Netflix Castlevania series in the very first episode.
Oh, no
when
kidding.
The Dracula dude sends the little beasties out. He's like, go and kill for this life of hate before me. I was like, that's fucking sick. I'm like, write that straight down.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
a hook.
Yep.
So I pinched that, but there's a few Zelda references in it, like the Shield of Mirror that conjures broken reveries. You might remember in Courage, he awakens from the reverie and has no idea where he was. So something going on there for the listener to fill in. And you might, like, the Tabra fans might have noticed Stormchild coming. I don't know, maybe Tabra will record something again. That's a little, like a little maybe Easter egg. Like we're all chatting and stuff again, so who knows? Like, I thought I'd throw back to us a little bit.
Yeah, cool.
Which kind of works because I was a very, very angry young man, fueled on and just wanted to succeed purely to spite people that said I couldn't, you know. So there's a lot of my worst side in that song. So
in Life of Hate.
Yeah, I enjoyed putting that in.
Yeah, cool.
In the same way that I put a lot of myself in Wisdom when I sort of started to come of age and realize life isn't what I thought it was. Life of Hate is an important part of my journey of being an incredibly angry young man, just fueled on by nothing but the desire to crush the competition.
I
thought putting Tabra in there kind of fits that.
And it's cool that, like, so much of this album, it feels like such an effective expression of you as a person and your experiences so far, but kind of wrapped up in this fantastical kind of package that's vague enough and open up enough to interpretation that you can see yourself in that world. You know, you can kind of self-insert and see yourself as the traveler.
That's something I really didn't get right in my early songs. Just I was too specific. Like, there was no room for anyone else to put their own thing in. It was very like self-absorbed, very self-centered. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, do you have am I just hearing things, or are there references to other Fierce Deity material that is not Power, Wisdom, Courage centric? The
your Ballads of Despair, you heard that?
Yes, the three bells from Bells of Despair, and there's like a line that says something like, you know, sing your ballads of despair. I think that's in Life of Hate as well.
Yep, yeah, that's in Life of Hate.
There's one of the tracks, I can't remember, it might be Life of Hate as well actually, but has like it has the kind of backing vocal saying redeem it, and that sounds like it's the kind of backing vocals from Holy Fire. I'm getting my fucking corkboard and yarn out for this one, dude.
Yeah.
Redeem it.
Yeah. yeah. That wasn't intentional, actually. Maybe that was subconscious, but that was just me. I'm always trying to just do gospel choir.
Yeah, it's just fucking cool,
I attempted
man.
it in Dragon Gold as well with the Fly Away section. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
What's the line in Holy Fire? Coming back to the old references and Dragon Gold and stuff like that. There's a lot of references to God. There was definitely a moment when I was making this album. There was like the stuff I'd written before Elden Ring came out and then the stuff after. Like I was just so captured by that game, and luckily I'd done that Golden Dragon song a little bit earlier, so with Elden Rings, like the grace of gold and things like that, the idea of like gold being order, and gold is always something in all the mythology. It's always pure because it can't be corrupted. It's always a symbol of the most ideal, I suppose, to put it simply. So yeah, I had that pen and paper out when I was playing my 300 hours of my first playthrough of that game. I was like picking there's even stuff straight out of item descriptions and stuff. In Deadworld, there's the lyric, "A barbaric howl to rally the spirit proud." That's straight out of the item description of the Ash of War barbaric howl. It says a barbaric howl to rally the spirit. I was like, yeah, I'm having all of this. Thank you. Regan, you might have gotten traumatized by the sound of thinking there's what they were called a wall master. The hands that, like, just before the breakdown hits, the wall master kind of drops.
I was a bit better with those as a kid. I don't know. I think the Redead just sort of like set the base level, and after that I could steel my nerves against any more horrors.
Yeah, cool. Well, you got stronger. You're welcome. I found a fantastic cinematic scoring tool that I had in this bundle of virtual instruments. It's called Thrill, and it's like horror movie, like tension building things. So I tried to sneak a bit of that in there.
Yeah, going back to the Redeads, but also in stuff like Elden Ring, which is just filled with,
oh my god, yeah,
body horror and whatnot. It feels like a lot of horror has come through into this album more than past material, which, as you said, is a bit more uplifting. This is the dark side.
Yep.
And yeah, Deadworld.
Again,
particularly.
Yeah, Deadworld is a surprise. A lot of people have reacted to that one, which is cool because I don't know where that song came from. It really did just come out of nowhere and sort of write itself. So I'm always happy when that happens. But yeah, people have gotten around that. I don't know if it's because one of the shows, it's only 7 minutes. I don't know. It doesn't scream hit single to me though. It's a very dense and dark song. But yeah, there's heaps of. I think I mentioned the Grace of Gold in there, so it's a big Elden Ring reference. I don't know. I feel like in the story, the Grace of Gold is like the blood of the lineage of deities. Like in my head, that kind of works. I don't know. We'll have to. Yeah, I'll figure this out with every album, I'm sure. But yeah, little sneaky things like that through this sort of like grim telling of a generational hatred and oppression and horrible trauma and experiences just getting passed through families. Like it. I feel like I've hung out with a lot of social workers and stuff in my life, so you hear all these like terrible stories and like, oh man, like how does the person that's had the dad who beats them end up in a relationship with someone who beats them? Like that's just, it can't be an accident. Like and yeah, I wanted to sort of tackle that subject, but I feel like a lot of metal like is a little bit soft on the language, so I decided not to. I used decided to be very sort of frank and scathing with it, and snuck in the video game references so everyone sort of has a good, I don't know, trying to find that balance of not just coming out and saying things, but using a bit of symbolism and try and dress it up into something a little bit more artistic, as opposed to I don't know, you could lay down a drum track and rap over it if I wanted to just like say things. Of course. But I don't think that'd go very, very well.
No, and it keeps it
for album
do
3.
diss tracks.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, it keeps it kind of in the world of this album and stuff as well. It doesn't feel like an outlier. It still feels like it's telling a chapter from the same story, or like you say, like a memory or something. And it's really interesting. And the lyrics delivered with real conviction. It makes those last the last like verse and chorus build really, really satisfyingly, and yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, it hits home.
It really helps connect with the concepts of that rather than the actions.
Yeah.
You know, if you wrote that straight face description of the trauma, you know, it might only connect with people who have known that and felt that, but by conceptualizing it in this world, it can connect with a wider audience and then introduce people to those concepts, which they can then empathize with in the real world.
Totally. I think it does in the way that all great
well said.
fantasy and sci-fi as well kind of tackles those ideas and subjects.
Yeah. Yes, man. So well said. Spot on. What are we up to? Paralysis. The fun. Yeah. I had no idea how this one was going to go. I love all this stuff, like that Hyrule Market sort of jig in my head. It's like a fiery winter festival. I'm trying to like write these musical locations, and to me that's in the south. That's the pagans. That's us down here in Hobart. That's Dark Mofo. That's like a winter festival where they get together and just dance in the rain. And you'll notice it's like the harp and the ocarina are sort of like singing together again, like it did in Nekot Shrine. There's something to that. I'm gonna try and write that. Got this idea of this album about the gods, the ancient great beings. So I'll try and like build that in a future album. And it represents like Nekot and who's the cat, the great being of the desert west. And I'm going to do, I think the character's going to be something like a Tyr or a Thor, like one of those sort of like boisterous kind of names with a like a wolf type figure, and they're going to have some sort of like friendship or brotherhood, but maybe they have to go to war. I'm not sure what it is, but it kind of represents those two. So the pagans are kind of like doing this celebratory dance of those two beings. So I guess I can't call them pagans if they worship. Wait, how does this work? Am I allowed to do that? We'll have to think. We'll do that. We'll worry about that another time.
It's your universe, man. Do whatever you want.
This is what it's like to be in my mind, by the way.
It's a constant
That's exactly
PR nightmare
what it's like to live in my mind.
Different deities.
Yeah. So the paralysis is that kind of memory, and then obviously it hits the storm. And I didn't mean for it to come out as a sea shanty, but it's a fucking sea shanty. I don't know how it happened. I'm not a sailor. I don't like boats. I go for a bit of a swim now and again, but I'm not a water person. I have no idea how this came out like that. But the frozen ocean, the ocean of sorrow, another location I'm trying to build up. And Weight of the World into Wind. It was kind of like what I would imagine like sailors would sing to lift morale. Maybe the traveler just remembers from his sailing days or something. But I love that song. It's probably my favorite. I've always wanted to do something like that and use the baritone a little bit more, trying to harness that. And I really like the lyrics in the chorus. I don't know why. I think I don't know when I wrote it, but I've had it in my notebook for years and years and years. And I've given it to other people. I'm like, can you do anything with this? I just like the hook of it's getting lonely in the fog with only demons for company. There's just something about it that I liked. And there's I don't know, I find it pretty hard to find the balance between doing angsty stuff and making it not seem too whiny. It's like depicting being alone and it sucks. Hope somebody comes along to share the silence here with me. Just seemed like a genuine thought that I've probably had in my life. Like I said, had it in my notebook for ages and ages, and finally got to use it.
Oh, that's fantastic. And it is a really great track, and I think it achieves exactly what you're setting out to do, and it manages to strike this really fine like balance between it never sounds too much. It never sounds like a sea shanty to my mind. I never went sea shanty, and it never sounds like I don't know, a lot of folky, like folk metal bands will do a song where it's like, oh, they're doing the Blind Guardian, Lord of the Rings song or whatever. It doesn't fall into that territory. It still sounds like uniquely Deity. And I think like it does the thing.
If I ever sound like pirate metal dude.
Behind the shed.
Behind the shed.
If I ever sound like pirate metal dude, you need to take me out the back, put me down, shoot me in the head if I ever start doing pirate or straight up gimmicky Viking metal. I hate that shit.
And I think like lyrically, it never feels like you say whiny or anything. It feels like just an earnest expression of like, I don't know how dour life can feel at times, but that Weight of the World into the Wind thing does feel like the kind of like, okay, yes, this does feel as bad as I think it does, but off we go. Like, get on with it sort of thing.
Yep, nothing for it. So yeah,
I think it perfectly does ride that line of like, it sounds like a folk song in this universe.
Yes. Yep.
Rather than, a folk metal song.
Cool.
Yes. Yeah. You haven't written a folk metal song.
Thank God. I'm still unscathed. Yeah, I'd hate to. I want to dip in and out of genres, but I just never want it to be gimmicky. So it's just got to have like conviction and whatnot. But I think like I said, so much happened to me. The Nekot Shrine, I wrote when my cat passed away, and the string section for The Weight of the World Into the Wind, I wrote when our dog was like having this surgery overnight, and it was real nasty shit. Like, he had an ulcer in his stomach. The ulcer popped, so his stomach was leaking into his chest cavity, bad.
Jesus.
Like, they gave us we had very low chance, very, very painful surgery, very long recovery, if one at all. And so I was in my studio writing that string section, the swelling strings. I was like, fuck, why am I doing this tonight? This is the worst part of this is the worst kind of music to be making when your best mate is probably not coming back. But he pulled through miraculously. They said he'd probably be in the clinic and stuff for 5 days, but he was back the next day. He just pulled through. It was fucking unreal.
Champion.
So yeah, that little section there means so much, because I was in this I was there in the storm, you know what I mean, of sadness, and just that the world is a little bit darker. The world is going to be a little bit darker for a while. So I was right there when I wrote it. So it's just some weird things came together on this album, I think, and I think it really did help get it over the line in terms of not falling flat, or even worse, becoming gimmicky.
Yeah. No, it all feels really earnest and authentic.
Yeah, like you said, some of those lines in there are just genuine thoughts that I'm sure you had, and we've all had, especially sharing the silence of God, the amount of times where you're just sitting there on your own, and it's I don't want company so much, but I just want to not be alone right now.
Yep.
I wish there was someone to be comfortably silent with.
Yes. And I mean, those are the times where you do look to art, books, movies, music, whatever it is, to just give you some indication that you're not a fuck up of a human being, that you're not alone in this experience.
Yeah, someone else feels it too.
Yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah, and Terrible Fate, of course, is the boss battle. Yeah, I don't know. I desperately wanted to. I got massively into the Mick Gordon Doom soundtrack, and there was a preset on a virtual instrument I have called Rip Tear. So I just broke that out and used one of the motifs. There's lots of musical phrases repeated throughout the album, and the pre-chorus, in Storm Temple, that builds to the chorus is da 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 da, just that. And I was like, I'll just do that, see what happens. I was like, oh, anything I fucking play with this preset sounds fucking sick. So I just looped that for a while, and it took a whole bunch of noises just straight off there's some website that has all of every Zelda game. You can just download files of the sound effects. So I just kind of went crazy.
Sweet.
And just packed it and tried to depict a big nasty battle, and managed to sneak in a blast beat too. Actually, there's 2 blast beats on the album. That's one of the most fulfilling things about it, is I finally got blast beats on a record, just confusing people even further.
Fucking Fierce Deity confirmed black metal.
I'm probably 1 or 2 joints away from just fully melting my mind and doing a black album, a black metal album. I could do it. I mean, I could have that meltdown, just, really fall over the spectrum a little, and just avant-garde black metal.
Yeah.
But I don't know if sea shanty black metal, but
let's not go nuts.
So I love that song. That song came together, and there's a lot of weirdness on the album. I used to experimenting with different time signatures, and that's an unusual song. It's a 5-bar phrase instead of a 4-bar phrase. This is all nerdy, so I don't know if this is interesting to the viewers or not, but I think it helps to keep things a little bit unexpected and fresh. But I love that big chord progression. I think that's just lifted straight from Ganon's theme, actually.
Very nice.
Climbing the stairs in Ocarina of Time. But a few little musical tricks that I kind of gave myself the giggles with. You'll the Mick Gordon sound effect is Leviarak. Like, that's how I was writing it. And during the quiet section, you'll notice all the low end goes out and it sort of like lifts up. That is like depicting Leviarak like going up to the ceiling, and like the Traveler loses it. But then I dropped the volume and put the bass back in so it creeps up from below again. Check that out the next time you listen to it. I hope that makes sense. But
that's very cool.
That's Leviarak creeping up. Yeah, but obviously the Deity, the Traveler, the Deity stays still. I was going to do a voice, like I tentatively did a few voiceovers for sections, like almost like an audiobook type thing. And I don't know, maybe I should have done it, but the idea is that the Traveler can't defeat her with a sword, so it's like it's going to have to use the bow. And I was going to do something about the hunter, like the hunter's instinct, and like let her think she's hunting you. Obviously, I didn't do it because I didn't know how to make a succinct version of it. But yeah, musically, the Mick Gordon thing creeps back in from behind you, so to speak. And then, like, yeah, in the head depicts it just the Traveler knocking an arrow, just turning and just sending it to a big musical crescendo. It all came together, and a big box riff at the end, my favorite. I think it was 0012 1210. I love that shit. So
cool.
Yeah, had a moment when I finished that and I was like, damn, I need to do this live, because at the end it would just go over so well to do the I am and then point the mic to the crowd. Deity was like, that would work. Mate, yeah, like I have to do it now. Like I don't know about that stuff, but as far as getting the album home, yeah, I knew it was done at that point. It felt like a good conclusion, so I didn't want to fill it with more narration, and that I would have, I've never written it, like I've never authored books or anything like that, so like it would have been a musical work of a guy that's been doing it for 15 or plus years, and then he's like had been an author for like 5 minutes. It would have just stuck out.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Not to do it.
Yeah. No, fair enough.
Exactly what it would have been. It would have been dreadful.
You did a little bit of voiceover, or implemented some voiceover stuff on the previous record on Power, Wisdom, Courage, and you kind of resample and recontextualize a bit of that on this one.
Cut and chop.
Well, you gave him the chef in South Park treatment. Like, what was the thinking there?
All right, so I have no idea who the woman's voice is yet. I don't have a clue, but I just pop it up when it needs to create some intrigue. But mostly I'm just annoyed at that bitch from Fiverr, because like she said it was going to be this price, and I was like, yeah, I'm just putting it on this dumb project, and she was like, oh, you'll need to pay the licensing fee. I was like, look, lady, I got 100 followers. Like, I'm not in the realm of doing a licensing fee. She's like, no, it's going to be, it was like an extra $100 or something. Wow. So I was like, no, fucking get my money's worth, use it again.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
Chopped it up a little bit to make it, yeah.
let your light die. Fuck you.
Yeah. She pronounced behemoth weird, like behemoth. I didn't get, there were no second takes, obviously.
No, not for $100.
Yeah, I don't know who that's going to be. I'm pretty excited by the prospect, actually. I feel like that woman's voice is gonna be I don't know, maybe it's a love interest, or maybe it's the daughter dragon from A Dragon Gold. There's obviously the father teaching his daughter how to be fucking magnificent and terrifying. So I don't know, it gets revealed to me too with each album, or each time I pick up a pen and paper I just write and see what comes out. But at this time, I have no idea who the woman in the story is going to be.
Very cool.
That is equally amazing, like so much potential, but also so frustrating that like one of those things, I love that voice.
Yeah.
And every time it comes in, I feel like it is a important moment in the story.
Yeah.
So to know that that's just like,
and it will be, dude. Like,
you're hooked in the Fierce Deity cinematic universe, dude. That's how they get you.
Been hooked from song one.
Yeah.
Got him. No, I'm selling it to Disney. So like,
for if you do any like future voiceover stuff, you should just use the TikTok woman. I let my light die, and it was so cute. Did that shit.
Genuinely want to hit you right now.
Maybe I could, yeah.
That's a little behind the eye headache.
Definitely, like, there's definitely something to it. There's definitely some references of, so I snuck in a few lyrics in this album that only mean something to me. Like, there's some weird things like wildflowers care not where they grow. Like, that's purely for me. But there's another one, I froze when she dove into depths below. That means something, but it's also a whole bunch of words that rhyme. So
win-win.
I feel, yeah, and there's going to be something to the ocean of sorrow, I think. Whereas the point, like, how did he get there? How did he get onto the ocean? Why is he there alone? Why is he sad now? Like, what's the, what's that? I froze when she dove into the depths below. Like, who... It's a she that, yeah. So I feel like I feel like it is written, but it just hasn't been revealed to me yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. And it's exciting too. It's honestly like keeping up with like an author that you really like. I mean, I know we riffed on you not being an author per se, but like has that same thing where you're like, oh my god, you know, when's the next Game of Thrones coming out, sort of thing.
Yeah, hopefully. Like, I'd love it for it to be that. I'd love it for it to be a full blown saga that I can write pieces to as they're revealed. But so far this is pretty meta. But my idea with like Power, Wisdom, Courage, and a Terrible Fate, it kind of sits like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. There was like Ocarina, highly palatable, sort of like took my work from 2D to 3D, so to speak.
Yeah,
and then
sure.
Majora's Mask is like a Terrible Fate is this like darker, weirder, still set in like even reusing some of the assets. Like, it's pretty meta. Like, it's probably just for me, but it feels like it sits there like like the Ocarina Majora's Mask, because people kind of think, I kind of think of those two games as one. Yeah, even down to the artwork being purple and colorful and stuff like that. It's that's how it's sitting for me at the moment. So
yeah, no, I think it absolutely.
Yeah, hopefully I don't ruin it and do Wind Waker next.
No, I think it absolutely fits that that bill, and I would say too, like you said, hopefully it becomes this saga for people. Like as a genuine fan, I'd say you'd feel the same, Regan. Like it's already playing that, like filling that role in my life for me. And I'm sure a lot of other people. So perfect. It's good on you.
And I just genuinely want more. Excellent. And I want to know the story. Like,
than I thought.
I want to be able to look at a map of these areas of like the desert, the sea, and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool for like a deluxe edition vinyl thing at some point. Do a big like package with like a big map and shit.
But then equally, as soon as you do that, you're binding yourself to like a constraint almost of like. As soon as you set rules for the world, you have to play in the rules.
That's true.
So on the other hand, I want to not, because when you're only limited by yourself, you're putting out extremely good work.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Warhammer just like rewrote a bunch of stuff after 30 years. So I guess you can do what you like if you survive long enough.
I was having a nice interview.
It's pretty. Like I've like never got. I just watched a video about it because I just find that kind of stuff interesting. I find like marketing and pandering pretty interesting, so that came across my feed a little bit. But as far as like locking myself into like rules, I don't mind that. I think restrictions are good for creativity, because you heard me like ramble before. Like, that's what it's like living in my head. So if I had some rules to stick to, it might be it might be nice.
Yeah,
that's true. And you did well. Like you were saying,
I'm already anxious about it.
You had like a good natural point of, I finished this album, and in the past, when we've done album reviews, we've slammed solo artists who clearly don't know when to stop and need someone.
Yeah, and don't know how to self-edit.
You gotta get off stage, brother.
And like some of them are really good, really good artists as well. Like your Matt Heafy and stuff. I mean, a lot of his solo material is just kind of adds and adds and adds. So yeah, he needs that cage. But you seem to really self-mediate well in that regard.
And on that note, like kind of doing it all yourself and being kind of responsible for your own deadlines, and whether or not these things even come to like see the light of day. Can you speak a bit about how that's been coming from, like, when in 2019 when we had you on the show, you just started Fierce Deity, or you just put out The Path, and with another song coming up. Like, how's the journey been for you, just as a creative, trying to make a go of this thing, and do you have any I don't know, advice or like words of encouragement? I feel like your albums are full of words of encouragement for people doing that and on that path, so to speak. But if you've got any specific ones that you'd like to give to people watching who might be doing a similar thing, we're all ears.
Yeah. Oh man, it's nothing but bad news, I'm afraid. Nothing. There's no guaranteed thing, but the only thing that has truly worked for me was working the craft, getting it good, and then word of mouth. Word of mouth has done so much more than I've ever been able to do, like marketing wise. It's not really words of encouragement, but if you're the kind of person that will do this and walk the path no matter what, then you'll find it encouraging, but you've just got to learn to love the shit parts about it as well. I paid the album off today, what a blessing. That's awesome. $2,100 straight out of the account, but now I'm 34 years old and I've got $1,200 to my name. It's scary, I'm not getting any younger. And I don't know, something about you telling me that we just watched that episode of Tunes. That was 2019. I just put out the path, far out. I had no idea what was coming. It was all incredibly exciting back then. Everything was fresh and new, and the prospect of quitting my job, I had it for an idea I had for an album that I'd always wanted to do. The time that I get to give myself that time, I'm so grateful to myself. You've got to do, I don't know how to put this, but survival's not just about food, shelter, and water. You've got to do something with your life that keeps the shotgun out of your own mouth, to be blunt. You'll become the biggest threat to yourself if you hate your life. If you build a life that you can't inhabit, you will be the biggest threat to yourself. So you've got to wake up early, sing the scales, and practice the guitar, and you've got to listen to what's coming out. You got to immerse yourself in the world of music or whatever your craft is, and just shed any sense of fame and success, things like that, the vanity metrics. I'm using that. That's my word of the month. Absolutely love that term. There's a lot of advice out there about going viral and vanity metrics, but truly, the bad news is you've just got to get really, really good at the thing, and you've got to build your life to give yourself that chance. That's kind of all I've done, really. Just given myself the opportunity to sit and figure this out. And it's a lot of work, and it's not very glamorous, and you'll be broke depending on your circumstances. Being broke is no fucking fun, especially as you're getting older and everyone else is doing things they're attaining things like security and careers and things like that. But God, if you're truly the kind of person that'll do it, you'll just love it. I don't know, there's no one investment that will make you all the money. You just got to be a little bit crazy, manageable way. It's I don't know if that's encouraging, but geez, it felt true.
Yeah, no, it
true coming out of my mouth.
It's not it doesn't sound like Hollywood, but it is genuinely encouraging. I'm sure to anybody watching this in a similar position, I find that stuff encouraging, because it makes me go okay, again, it's the I'm not a fuck up. Oh no, this is the life. This is the journey.
It's actually crazy how much of that just was mirrored back in conversations we were having yesterday. When you were talking about just getting up and playing the drums every morning, because you've just got to do it. Yep. Amazing to see that mirrored.
That is the success, by the way. That is having the purpose is the success. It's corny as fuck. It's definitely, it's a Miley Cyrus song, I think. It's the climb. I wish I knew the rest of that song to make that reference work, but it's you'd have no idea what the success actually is. You think it'll be one thing, but really it'll just be someone like Regan who notices the things you put in it. That's everything. It's so fulfilling. There's people out there listening, and I know I'm not crazy. I think this is a cool idea, and there's other people that do as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird life. It's not what I'd imagined as a kid, but you know, what the fuck did he know?
That's
What
true.
did he
Yeah.
know?
I think you could beat him in a fight.
That's a very good
Yeah,
point. And
I'd smash myself.
In a fight.
in Minecraft.
Yeah.
It's been a fucking pleasure talking with you tonight, dude. And every conversation I've had with you over the years, while you've been doing Fierce Deity, has always been illuminating and reassuring. So thank you for that. And it's been really cool. Like when I think back to like the path, even just as a song, it kind of has. You said, you know, it started out all kind of like exciting and shiny and new. You know, the path, hearing whispers, all the way through to Ballad of Heartbreak and Despair, kind of has that energy about it. And then Wisdom and especially this Terrible Fate has more of a kind of mature but no less ambitious bent to it. It's really cool to see your journey so effectively reflected in the work. And you're doing the work, so excellent, man.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for having me. This has been fantastic. I had a real good time.
All right, well, we'll say goodbye to you there. Thanks so much for joining us. Oh, Regan.
Where can we find you? Where can the people find you?
Plug.
Oh, yeah, of course. Everywhere. Fierce Deity Metal. Everywhere. Look it up. Like and subscribe, folks. Get around it. Should I spell it? It's a pretty tough. There's lots of I's in it. No, people will figure it out. People are smart. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. We have
Come on, people. Do something.
Exactly. Anthrites in the chat says join the temple. So there you go.
Yeah. How about that for some meta too? Just market your subscription in a song.
Yeah. Like and subscribe. You're fucking 3 steps ahead, dude.
It's a subliminal and then the superliminal.
I'm too far.
That's it.
Hey, you! Join the temple!
Dude.
Oh, dude.
Join the fucking temple. Get in here.
Yeah. You heard it, folks. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, dude.
Thanks for having me.
See you, dude.
See you,
Have
chat.
a good one.